The Great Wobblebottom Bake-Off. Once upon a time, in the peculiar town of Wobblebottom, the sun was shining brightly, and the birds were chirping in anticipation. Today was the day of the annual Great Wobblebottom Bake-Off, where bakers from near and far gathered to showcase their most creative and scrumptious desserts. The residents of Wobblebottom were all aflutter with excitement as they prepared for the big event. The town square was adorned with colorful bunting and festive balloons, and the sweet aroma of baked goods filled the air. The mayor, Mr. Jollybottom, was particularly thrilled, for he was to judge the desserts alongside his trusty pet llama, Fluffy. You see, Fluffy was no ordinary llama. She had a discerning palate and a keen eye for detail. Together, they had judged the competition for the past 5 years. As the contestants set up their tables with delectable treats, Fluffy became more and more restless. Her eyes darted from one dessert to another, and her mouth watered in anticipation. In a moment of mischief, Fluffy decided to break free from her leash and take a little taste test of her own. The crowd watched in astonishment and stifled laughter as Fluffy darted from table to table, sampling an array of delightful desserts. She nibbled on a chocolate truffle mountain, took a bite out of a cream puff tower, and even snuck a lick of the mayor's prized blueberry pie. The bakers were at first horrified by Fluffy's rampage but soon found themselves chuckling at the absurdity of the situation. Realizing they had to act quickly to save their desserts, they devised a plan to lure Fluffy back to her pen. Sally, the youngest and most imaginative baker in town, came up with a brilliant idea. She scooped up a generous dollop of her famous strawberry whipped cream and plopped it right onto her head. She then paraded around the town square, drawing Fluffy's attention with her delicious and silly hat. As Fluffy trotted behind Sally, the other bakers joined in, each adorning their heads with their tasty creations. They formed a conga line of dessert-hatted townsfolk, leading the wayward llama back to her pen. With Fluffy safely contained, the townspeople couldn't help but laugh at the sight of their dessert-covered heads. In a show of camaraderie, they decided that this year's Great Wobblebottom Bake-Off would be a celebration of their shared love for sweets and community spirit. The winners? Everyone who participated, of course. The people of Wobblebottom feasted on the remaining treats, sharing stories and laughter late into the night. The Great Wobblebottom Bake-Off would forever be remembered as the most deliciously hilarious event in the town's history. And as for Fluffy? Well, she had the sweetest dreams that night, dreaming of the day when the next Great Wobblebottom Bake-Off would come around again.